Greatness doesn't look the same for everyone. For some, it's sweat, obsession, and years of shaping every weakness into strength. For others, it's a gift, a combination of size, speed, and touch that no defense can solve. Today, we're exploring basketball's ultimate clash. Workers who willed themselves into icons versus naturals who made dominance look effortless. Two very different paths, one stage. The real question is, when pressure peaks, whose path actually wins? Michael Jordan didn't become Air Jordan by accident. After being knocked down by the bad boy Pistons year after year, he realized pure talent wasn't enough. He needed a body and mindset that could survive playoff warfare. Enter trainer Tim Grover. Jordan formed what became known as the Breakfast Club. At 5 a.m. before practice, he lifted. By 7 a.m., he was working through on-court drills, fadeaways, footwork, defensive slides. By mid-morning, conditioning and recovery. This was daily, not seasonal. Teammates Pippen and Harper joined, but Jordan was the one demanding every ounce of intensity. Grover recalls Jordan insisting on shooting through exhaustion, putting up jumpers after sprinting until his legs wobbled, simulating fourth quarter fatigue. Every rep mirrored a game scenario. The results were obvious. He developed one of the most polished mid-range arsenals in history. Turnarounds, inside pivots, baseline fades, all rehearsed thousands of times. His defensive presence, steals, blocks, help rotations came from hours of studying tendencies and building stamina to sustain full-court pressure. Even iconic moments like the 1997 flu game were built on years of conditioning. He wasn't superhuman. He was prepared for chaos when it arrived. Jordan's 6 titles, 5 MVPs, and 10 scoring crowns weren't a gift. They were the product of structure and obsession. Every weakness became a new project. Jordan's work ethic created a modern blueprint. But how does someone else carry the weight of global hype for 20 years without breaking? That brings us to LeBron James. At 16, LeBron was already billed as the chosen one. His game sold out gyms. ESPN broadcast his high school matchups. And Nike handed him $90 million before he played an NBA game. That spotlight destroys most players. LeBron thrived and then evolved. His body was built like a freight train. 6'8", 240 pounds with speed rivaling guards. But his greatness came from constant reinvention. Early in Cleveland, he was dared to shoot. He spent off-seasons reworking mechanics until his jumper became reliable in big moments. In Miami, he added a refined postgame, learning footwork from Hakeem Olajuwon. When defenses crowded the paint, he punished with fadeaways and kickouts. Longevity didn't happen by chance. LeBron invests over $1.5 million per year into recovery. Private chefs, dietitians, massage therapists, cryotherapy, hyperbaric chambers, sleep tracking, and strength coaches. Every in-season day follows the same rhythm: cold tub, lift, mobility, film, hydration. Even travel schedules are optimized to reduce swelling and fatigue. He isn't just physically prepared, he's mentally loaded with film study. Teammates and coaches call him a walking database, able to recall opponents' plays from years earlier. During playoff runs, he organizes LeBron camps before official training camp, ensuring teammates know spacing, timing, and schemes. 20 years into his career, he's still averaging 25 plus per game. 4 championships, 4 MVPs, 10 finals appearances. Critics once questioned his clutch factor. His preparation erased it. His reads in crunch time are a product of repetition, not chance. Durability and adaptability don't come from hype, they come from constant rebuilding. LeBron mastered evolution. But what about the player who wasn't built like him, didn't look like a prototype, and still managed to shake the entire league with repetition? That's Steph Curry. At Davidson, Steph Curry was dismissed as too small, too skinny, too fragile. Scouts doubted whether his shot mechanics would hold up against NBA defenders. His answer wasn't talk, it was reps. With trainer Brandon Payne, Curry built neurocognitive overload drills, 2-ball dribbling while catching tennis balls, shooting with strobe goggles to disrupt vision, sprints into threes to mimic game fatigue. The philosophy? If practice is harder than the game slows down. Pre-game routines became his trademark, not for show, but calibration. He warms up with handle ladders, floaters off either foot, extended range spot-ups, then full-speed relocation threes. He tracks arc and spin as much as makes. Hundreds of shots before tip-off are simply maintaining a standard. Injuries nearly derailed him. After multiple ankle sprains, Curry rebuilt his body. Focus shifted to hip strength, glute activation, and core stability. Range didn't extend because his arms got stronger. It extended because his base got more efficient. That detail is why his 30-footers look natural. It's why defenders guarding him at half-court still can't close the gap. His work turned bad shots into the best shots in basketball. Curry's 2015 and 2016 MVP campaigns, especially the unanimous season, weren't flukes. They were the product of years of relentless repetition. Thousands of shots when no one was watching. 4 championships later, the game itself has widened. Kids now practice pull-ups from 30 feet because Curry proved the math. His revolution wasn't just skill, it was detail and preparation applied at scale. That's the worker's path. But now, we pivot to those who lived off raw ability, where discipline lagged behind gifts. We start with Shawn Kemp. Shawn Kemp was a physical marvel. At 6'10" with a 40-inch vertical, he made Seattle basketball electric. He ran the floor like a guard, caught impossible lobs, and hammered dunks that defined highlight reels in the 1990s. At his peak, he averaged 20 points and 10 rebounds, made 6 All-Star teams, and led the Sonics to the 1996 finals against Jordan's Bulls. Pure talent carried him there. But Kemp's career was derailed by what he didn't do. Conditioning and discipline were afterthoughts. He never committed to year-round training or nutrition. His routine lacked structure, especially in the off-season. The 1998 lockout exposed him. Players were left on their own, and Kemp reported to camp significantly overweight. His lift disappeared and his efficiency plummeted. By his early 30s, he was carrying too much weight to perform. Off-court distractions compounded the decline. He battled personal issues, and his focus never matched his talent. He bounced through Cleveland, Portland, and Orlando, but by then, his athletic edge was gone. The frustrating part? His tools were good enough to dominate without preparation. Imagine if his work ethic mirrored his physical ability. Kemp could have been remembered alongside the greatest forwards ever. Kemp's story shows how quickly the lack of discipline shortens a career. But the next example proves even dominance at the highest level can still leave questions. Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq was the closest thing to unstoppable the league has ever seen. 7'1", 325 pounds, and nimble. In Orlando, he sprinted the floor, threw down thunderous dunks, and shattered backboards. By LA, he had mastered positioning, burying defenders, sealing, and finishing with brute force. From 2000 to 2002, he won 3 straight finals MVPs, averaging 35 points and 15 rebounds in the 2000 finals. Defenses had no answers. But Shaq's relationship with work ethic was inconsistent. He admitted to entering training camp out of shape, relying on the season to get fit. In 2002, he delayed toe surgery until the regular season, saying, "I got hurt on company time, I'll heal on company time." It cost the Lakers months of his prime. Free throws were another sign. Shaq never committed to overhauling his mechanics, rejecting suggestions like Rick Barry's underhand method. Coaches and teammates believed it was stubbornness, not inability. Kobe Bryant, his co-star, often voiced frustration. Kobe's obsession with work clashed with Shaq's reliance on natural gifts. Their feud wasn't about touches, it was about discipline. Kobe believed Shaq could have been the greatest of all time with more focus. Even with lapses, Shaq retired with 4 championships, an MVP, and 15 All-Star appearances. But the what if remains. What if the most physically dominant player ever had matched Jordan's obsession or Curry's repetition? His numbers might have been untouchable. Shaq left rings on the table. And now we see a modern echo in Zion Williamson, explosive talent facing the same discipline questions. Zion's high school mixtapes went viral. At Duke, he backed up the hype. 22 points per game, monster dunks, highlight blocks. He looked like a linebacker with springs in his legs. The Pelicans made him the #1 pick in 2019, expecting a new face of the league. When Zion is on the floor, he delivers. He scores 25 points a game on 60% shooting. Few players in history combine his size, quickness, and finishing touch. But the story is availability. In his first 4 seasons, he's played fewer than 120 games. Injuries to his knees, hamstrings, and feet have piled up. Reports of weight struggles and off-season conditioning lapses fueled more doubts. His contract even included clauses tied to body fat percentage. Zion's challenge isn't talent, it's discipline. His frame requires precision, strict diet, recovery, sleep, and year-round conditioning. Without them, the injuries keep coming. With them, he could dominate for a decade. He's young enough to change the story, but the clock is ticking. Fans see flashes of dominance but worry about another what-if career. Zion is the modern test case of whether talent alone can carry you. Which brings us back to the question, who really wins? The hustle or natural God-given ability? Jordan sharpened weaknesses into weapons. LeBron invested in evolution and durability. Curry built a revolution out of repetition. Cam, Shaq, and Zion showed the other path. Overwhelming natural ability, but inconsistent commitment to the hours no one sees. Talent carried them far, but not far enough. So, which wins? The truth is, balance. Talent lights the spark. Work ethic keeps it burning. If you could build a player, do you start with Shaq's body, Zion's bounce, Kemp's athleticism? Or do you choose Jordan's preparation, LeBron's reinvention, Curry's repetition? In the NBA, raw gifts make you a star. The grind makes you immortal.